What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P, back once again. And you already know what it is because you see me in front of your TV. And when you see me in front of your TV, you know that there are three things for certain. One thing for sure. Or is it one thing for certain and three things for sure? Anyway, it is what it is. And you know that the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. That is number one. Number two is that we came to give you stats, not none of that static. And number three, and perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. We want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And how, Don, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? You must be asking me, and I'm glad you asked. It is a three-step process. You must smash like buttons. You must subscribe, and you must share. Once you do those three things, you have kept your Lions news pragmatic. And because sharing is caring, as soon as you share it, with your uncles, your aunties, your cousins, your fathers, your mothers, your brothers, your sisters, your grands and your steps and your halves, you've indeed cared about those people because sharing is indeed caring. You know what it is? It is 53-man roster time. Ain't none of the news really broken because, you know, it's 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top, cruising the streets. Yeah, I told you I'll be here all week. I will be here all week, but none of the news is breaking. It is 7:22 right now, and you guys have heard everything that there is to hear about this roster, but we're going to break it down in that Motor City Don P way. We're going to break it down for the Motor City Cats out there that want to get it this way. All right. So, what up, though, everybody in the chat? What up, though, Zach J? What up, though, Just a Fan? Nobody predicted this roster. Nobody predicted the roster correctly. Okay, I would say because we all predicted it, but no one predicted this roster correctly. There were a lot of things that happened. The heavyweights cooking skills today. Yeah, I was listening to that in the car. It was nice, bro. I was up there getting hungry. I was like, let me go ahead and stop at KFC or Burger King or something to get me some breakfast. Because I was getting hungry, but I didn't do that. I just came to the house and whipped me up, you know, a nice little egg and cheese with a little bit of salami, you know what I'm saying? Put it on some toast and had it the way I had it. You know what I'm talking about? All right. So let's get to that little piece of information that we just talked about so we can get that out of the way. It is the roster cuts, and I just got to pull up my roster right here. All right, so the cuts that happened today, the remaining cuts. Wide receiver Malik Taylor, wide receiver Ronnie Bell, tight end Zach Horton, tight end Steven Stilianos, offensive line Gunnar Britton, offensive lineman Zach Johnson, offensive lineman Mason Miller, offensive lineman Michael Neese, offensive lineman Nitain Muti. Now, Nitain Muti is one that I know I said he had that viral block, but I don't know if they'll keep him. I didn't know if they just wanted to like not give too much depth at the guard position, but hey, they moved on from him. Tristan Colon was surprising to me because I would trust Tristan Colon more so than Kingsley Aguakun as far as a backup center. Keith Cooper is gone. Edge Isaac Uku. Now, I know a guy that said that Edge Isaac Uku and Edge Mitchell Agood were reasons that we did not need Za'Darius Smith back. They were, what do they call them? The interesting options. And that's why we didn't need Big Z back. No. Incorrect. That is not correct at all. Let's see, get this chat. You know what I'm talking about? Because I got two, you know what I'm saying? I got 2 cars and 3 cars and you got work. You know, yeah, okay. I popped the chat out already. It's all good. All right. Who else we got? Tyson Russell, Alan George, DJ Miller, Lauren Strickland, right? So I got all those. Now, the one I didn't see coming The one I didn't see coming, the one I thought that they would try to sneak him on injured reserve or something such and so and all this, was your boy Edge Ahmed Hassanin, who was released with an injury settlement per the Detroit Lions. Now, this is not a victory lap. I will not take a victory lap. I'm not happy that Ahmed Hassanin was injured. But the thing that I just tried to tell everybody, and I guess we'll take this caveat because it was an injury. We don't know what would have happened had he not been injured. But here's the one thing that I can say. These roster cuts didn't have the same ring as some of the other roster cuts did. Now, there is one that is familiar, and I'll get to it. It has a familiar ring. Dominic Lovett making the team over Jackson, Flaxen, Waxen, Meeks. I felt like that was familiar ring because he was drafted. He was kept. Okay? Because he was drafted, he was kept. I felt like Jackson Meeks thoroughly outperformed him this preseason training camp, at least as a receiver. Now, if you want to talk about special teams value and that's the reason he's there, okay. But as a receiver, Jackson Meeks was far and away better than Dominic Gotta Love It this preseason. But Ahmed Hassanin was released with an injury settlement, so he cannot return to the team until the injury settlement time period lapses. Now, we don't know how long that is. I don't know if it's a month, 2 months, 3 months. We don't know. Okay? But as it looks right now, Ahmed Hassanin will not be on the Detroit Lions in the early part of the season or the middle part of the season. But again, we do not know how long that injury settlement lasts. What is the time period of that? We all got caught up in the story. It was a great story. But the thing I just tried to let everybody know was just pump the brakes and let the man make the team. I think that he would have made the team had he not been injured. But I'm a bit surprised because I thought that, hey, even though he's injured, they'll probably go ahead and put him on injured reserve designated for return. They did not want to use a return designation for him. So whatever that means is whatever that means. We were 1 for 2. Okay. There were 2 very, 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 very hyped players. None of them first round draft picks or second round draft picks. There was Isaac Tesla and there was Ahmed Hassanin. Isaac Tesla, we hit on that one. Okay. I'm not going to say I wasn't a part of the whole Tesla hype. I said, again, let him make the team, let him play, let him perform. Let us see what he can do in a real NFL game. And we think from what he put on film, he'll do phenomenally during the regular season. Dan Campbell said this is a guy that you want to have contributing early in the season. So Dan Campbell already said that he's going to have a role on this team. He's 6'4". He runs a 4.3. He catches everything with his hands. Go figure. Okay, and he didn't look out of sorts and out of place when he was going up against the ones in training camp, and he was dominating the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, and so on and so forth. So, Ahmed Hassanin, speedy recovery, and hopefully you can get back to the Detroit Lions. We'll see what happens. All right, who else was cut? Ezekiel Turner, placed on injured reserve. I can't celebrate because he's on injured reserve. He tore his Achilles. I really can't make any comments. I have to be sensitive about this because it is an injury. But y'all all know how I feel about Ezekiel Turner. Okay. Maurice Norris was actually a bit of a surprise to me. I thought that they would keep him around, but they didn't. Deron Gilbert Yes. Lawrence Strickland was one that I said that he would not be on the 53-man roster. And then after the last preseason game, I did have a few doubts about what I was saying because he balled out, but he balled out like a person that absolutely needed to make the team. So the reason he didn't make the team is because where was that in preseason games 1 through 3? You know what I'm saying? So that's what that was. All right, get one. No one was correct because our prediction would have had 53 players. Right. All right. Lions cut down to 51 last season, I believe. I know they cut down to 52 because there was that intrigue about that one roster spot that was open. Oh, okay. Come on. Hamburger Harvey. Come on now. What are we doing? This man said, I don't want Z back because he'd rather chase internet hoes than go to camp. Bro, why are we so concerned about what people... He's been in the league 10 years. Talk to any 10-year... Barry Sanders didn't want to go to camp. If Barry Sanders had his way, he would have never gone to any camp ever. Nobody want to go to camp. No one enjoys camp. Have you... Hamburger Harvey, have you played football? If you got at least to high school, you understand that camp ain't something that anybody wants to do. Come on now. I don't want Big Z because he'd rather chase internet hoes than go to camp. I guess what? I hope they do sign him to let people know, hey, it's okay. He's a veteran. He doesn't need the extra. And if he doesn't go to camp, he can't get injured during camp. And he's a fresh body when the season starts. I'm just saying. He went. Yes, Barry Sanders went. But Barry Sanders was also on the team. They cut Zadarius Smith. Zadarius Smith didn't just not show up for camp. They cut him. So that puts Zadarius Smith in a position of leverage. You cut me. Okay, I'm not coming to camp. Cool. You gave me the opportunity to sit out and get my body completely healthy because I'm 32 years old and I've played a hell of a lot of snaps and got a hell of a lot of sacks and pressures. Telemay Media says, what? I was told that the 6th rounder out of Boise State was already in the Hall of Fame. Well, can't make the club in the sub. When do 7th round picks pan out? Less than 1%. Yeah. It is what it is. Usually they're on the either the practice squad or special teams for their entire career. The Lions cut him a check and said, keep in touch. And Zeke tore it up in the last preseason game, so I think he still gets paid. No, he didn't tear it up. He got injured. That's when he suffered his Achilles tear, and it was like the first half. It said leave him on the couch. Okay. You can leave him on the couch if you want to. But right now, the Detroit Lions have a total of 3 edge rushers. 1 Aiden Hutchinson, 1 Marcus Davenport, and 1 El Quadin Muhammad. Big Z or somebody is coming to the Detroit Lions to be an edge rusher because you've only got 3. And you don't have any coming back from injury. Okay? Just think about that. You don't have any coming back from injury. Mekhi Wingo is not a defensive end. Aleem McNeil is not a defensive end. Malcolm Rodriguez is not a defensive end. You're not going to go into the season with 3 edge rushers. Okay? Actually, there have been people trying to reach out to him, per Jeremy Fowler. He said multiple contending teams have reached out to Zadarius Smith. Okay, so this idea that Zadarius Smith is just a guy, I'm pretty sure you were very happy that we got Big Z at the trade deadline. So all the people that want to switch up on him, it's ridiculous. What are we switching up for? The guy's a good player. He wants to be in Detroit. He wants to help our team, and that's it. I don't understand. At this point, we are in a Super Bowl window. Complaining about what people do off the field, which is not harmful to anyone else, is ridiculous. This is the type of energy that the JMO haters have and everybody else. Can he help this team win football games? Yes. How do you know? Because he's shown you that he can. Like, why are we so worried about? I don't give a damn, bro. Like, who he's dating, you know what I'm saying? Who he's married to, what he's doing, where he's at, bruh. This ain't TMZ. I don't give a good goddamn where he's at, what he's doing, whatever the case may be. If they sign him, is he ready to play football? Can he help this football team win football games? That's it. That is it. He can want to be on TMZ all he wants. Let him be on TMZ. Lord have mercy. I don't watch TMZ. Sue did this for years, skip camp, and sign when the season starts. A lot of veterans have done this. Don't nobody want to go to camp? Sue did it and won rings. You know what I mean? Anyway, we are gathered here today to talk about some of the other players that have been cut. Okay? And we will go through them and see if anybody can help out the Detroit Lions. All right. He's not Sue. And guess what? Sue didn't do this on the Detroit Lions. He left. All right, let's see. Notable cuts trackers. All right, Colts roster cuts. Indy calls it quits on cornerback Juju Brents. Anthony Richardson isn't the only early draft pick the Indianapolis Colts are pivoting away from. Juju Brents. Now, the only reason I bring up Juju Brents is because on our current roster, we have Terrion Arnold. We have DJ Reed. We have Amik Robertson. We have Khalil Dorsey. We have Avonte Maddox. We have Rock Yassin. From that list of people, we have two capable backups and a special teams player. Do you think that it would behoove the Detroit Lions to kick the tires on a player such as cornerback Juju Brents to bring him in? Ooh. Ooh, what was that? Oh, no. To bring him in as depth for the cornerback position. Because Ennis Rakestraw is gone for the season, okay? We don't have anyone else who we thought was going to... Now, Rock Yassin is going to split time as a backup safety and a backup corner, okay? So if you need cornerback help and then you need safety help, then you can't put Rock Yassin in both places. So what do you guys think about bringing in a corner for depth? All right. And as I scroll through some other positions, you guys can put that up in the chat and let me know what y'all think. Just in case you guys didn't know, Juju Brents was a second-round pick out of Kansas State in 2023. He's 6'3", 198 pounds. So here, The 6'3", 198-pound cover man started 8 games as a rookie, but he has been plagued by injuries throughout his career. The Detroit Lions have signed cornerback Juju Brents, second-round pick of the Indianapolis Colts in 2023. He's been plagued by injuries throughout his career, including a torn meniscus and MCL that forced him to miss almost the entirety of 2024, and the scheme shift brought by new coordinator Lou Anarumo brought about additional challenges. The Detroit Lions are on line one for one cornerback, Juju Brents. All right. Okay. Patriots roster cuts. Now, we talked about the offensive line. Offensive lineman Cole Strange is not sticking around. The New England Patriots have moved on from one of the more notable disappointments of the end of Bill Belichick's tenure. The team on Tuesday waived interior offensive lineman Cole Strange. Belichick surprised many by selecting the Chattanooga product with the number 29 overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. Strange started 27 games in his first 2 seasons, but suffered a torn patellar tendon in December 2023. The Detroit Lions on line one for Cole Strange. I know it sounds bad. It sounds bad. I know. I know. But then we talking about Brad Holmes, y'all. Any notable backup QBs? We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Taylor-made my guy, bro. Taylor-made my guy. You missed it yesterday. I called him a scumbag. Oh, okay. And I've got some news for you guys. Okay, let me do this before I move. Before I continue. Okay. Because y'all know I pretty much get along with everybody, and I don't have too many people in this space that I despise. Okay? Y'all already know one that I despise so much. And there's reasons that I despise this person. The biggest reason is that he owes me money. He owes me time. And he threatened to sue me because I didn't want to deal with his BS anymore. That's the Cliff Notes. As I said, the more the bigger I get, the more I'll tell the story. Okay? There's that one person. The other person in this space, a lot of you know from the Crunch Time days, a lot of you know from the Woodward Sports days, I despise Adam Beydoun. And for those of you that were there for the Crunch Time event, you understand why I despise him. You understand that we did have an argument on the air, and I told him, when I get back to the States, it's on site. Whenever I see you, it's about to go down. Just a fad. You are correct. So after calling this person, whose name I do not mention, he whose name I dare not say, a scumbag for a fake cancer foundation that he has started, scamming people and their hard-earned money out of donation dollars for a cancer foundation that does not exist. Now, if he tells you that it's registered, it's because I've been calling it a scam for quite some time. So he probably just went on ahead and got it registered and still scamming you. I get an email after my live from none other than Adam Beydoun. So Adam Beydoun asks me why I stopped making content, and he sends me a screenshot of my old channel. And I told him I hadn't stopped making content, and I wondered why he, of all people, was reaching out to me to ask me anything. I said, are you just trolling because you believe that, like, I stopped making content because I couldn't make it or whatever the case may be. To my surprise, Adam said that he wasn't trolling. He said he was in crunch time in the chat and he saw someone with the name Chef in their name. Not me. He said, but it reminded him of me. So he went to my channel and found a dead YouTube channel and he was disappointed. He said that he hoped that I was making content elsewhere because YouTube is where I needed to be, in his opinion. I let him know that no, I had not stopped making content. My content career is very much alive and well, very active, that I am here as Motor City Don P on Motor City Cats after getting away from the scumbag. Okay? And that I'm also on LNU and I'm also on Syndicate Sports Detroit. So he was glad to hear that I was still making content and he wished me well. I told him I appreciated it. And just like that, the beef is squashed. So I only have one person in this space that I cannot stand, that I despise, and who is a very, very large scumbag. And I hope that people will understand how big of a scumbag that he is and stop going to his channel and they will unsubscribe. Anyway, that is the story. So shout out to Adam Beydoun for reaching out to me and wishing me well. So again, as I said, the beef is squashed. Just a fan is killing me up here in the chat. All right, let's get back to this roster stuff. So Cole Strange has been released by the Patriots. Cole Strange, anybody? Does that interest you in? So Colby Sorsdahl, for whatever reason, is on IR. Why he has not been released from IR, I do not know. Do I expect him to be released from IR at some point? I do. Brad Holmes has already admitted that Hendon Hooker wasn't that guy, that Broderick Martin wasn't the right way to go. Now we just need Colby Sorsdahl to be released. But for all of those who believe that 2023 was this really bad draft, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, same draft. Okay, so yes, he missed on Broderick Martin. He missed on Colby Sorsdahl. He missed on Hendon Hooker. 4 of his 7 picks were absolute studs and dogs. All pros and pro bowlers. Right? And 3 of them were busts. It's okay. It's okay. Okay? But he's moved on from those. And I would hope that Colby Sorsdahl is next. Art Vandalay says, I think any vet O-lineman would be a good addition at this point. I would agree. Can Cole Strange play center? Because I don't have faith in Kingsley Aguakun, who was not on the active roster last year, who was on the practice squad, and now he's on the active roster as kind of necessity because we've only got Graham Glasgow. We cut Tristan Colon, who also could play center. So if we could get a backup center in here, I'd be a whole heck of a lot more comfortable. And we also know that Graham Glasgow is getting old in the tooth. He's a gray bush, right? Along in the tooth, not old in the tooth. He's getting old, along in the tooth. He's a gray bush, and he's had some injuries start to pile up. So I would be much more comfortable getting a backup center. Cowboys roster cuts. Running back Deuce Vaughn out of crowded backfield. I'm not going to waste any time on this. We don't need a running back. Okay. Let's see. Seahawks roster cuts. Marquez Valdez Scantling beaten out for role. Any MVS love in the chat? Any MVS love in the chat? Zach J says it's Will Smith. I know it. It ain't Will Smith. O-line help and D-line help, yes. If we sign Z and a few legit backup O-linemen, we are good. Art Vandelay. Breaking news. Art Vandelay says that Big Z would be a good signing. There was somebody in here earlier who said that we shouldn't sign Big Z because he has a girlfriend named Cash Doll. That was all I got. He has a girlfriend named Cash Doll and he doesn't like camp. That's why I was told Big Z wouldn't be. We should move on and not pursue him. Okay. All right. I'm pretty sure nobody wants Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Browns roster cuts. Change coming at kicker. No one cares. Okay. Panthers roster cuts. Hunter Renfro's comeback hits a snag. If you can't make the Panthers, who literally have Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, and who did they get? McMillan T-Mac. They drafted him. If you can't beat out 57-year-old Adam Thielen, no. Sorry, Hunter. We don't want you. All right. Falcons roster cuts. No room for C.J. Henderson. He's another cornerback. So C.J. Henderson's audition for the Atlanta Falcons didn't yield a roster spot to start the season. The former first-round cornerback is being released by the team, according to multiple reports. Henderson signed with the Falcons less than 2 weeks ago to provide additional competition in the secondary. The number 9 overall pick in the 2020 draft started 22 games for the Carolina Panthers from 2021 to 23, but did not appear in a game for the Pittsburgh Steelers last season. Nah, bruh. Your draft status is not getting you anything this year. Not in Detroit. It's Willy Wonka. MCDP hates chocolate. I actually do not hate chocolate. I do not like chocolate cake. I like everything else chocolate, though. If you give me a chocolate bar, you give me chocolate ice cream, chocolate chip cookies, chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream is probably my favorite. Any ice cream with cookie dough in it, love it. Okay, I'm the type of person that will eat cookie dough just by itself. So, but I do not hate chocolate. Chocolate cake is just very dry. I don't like it. Now, if it's German chocolate cake, I mess with it. But regular chocolate cake like Black Forest, it's too dry for me. All right, 49ers roster cuts. San Francisco drops Tariq Owens. The San Francisco 49ers won't be eyeing T.O. 2.0 in 2025. The team is waiving wide receiver Tariq Owens, according to multiple reports. I don't think we need any backup receivers unless it's someone large, like large name. Commanders roster cuts. Clelin Ferrell. Latest to be shown the door. Clelin Ferrell. An offseason of upheaval for the Washington Commanders has led to even more change. Defensive end Clelin Ferrell, who started 10 games for the team last season, was released. Ferrell recorded 3.5 sacks last season for an overachieving Washington defensive line, but was relegated to a backup role down the stretch. After playing extensively in the preseason, the 7th-year veteran now will be in search of his 4th team in as many years. I do not care if it's his 4th team in the last. Clelin Ferrell. If you can sign him, even if he comes to the practice squad, he is a much, much, much better option to you than Mitchell Agood and Isaac Uku. Is he better than AQM? Most likely. However, AQM had the same amount of sacks in less games. So, Clelin Ferrell to the practice squad? Anybody? Anybody in favor of Clelin Farrell to the practice squad. Lamar Jackson cut the ATL CB LOL. Yes. And nobody, either you were trolling or it was the other guy. No one thought otherwise. Then why do you hate Willy Wonka? Did you snitch fizzy lifting drinks, stain the ceiling, and Willy got mad at you? Oh, I don't hate Willy Wonka. It ain't Willy Wonka. TaylorMade Media says, who are we talking about? Cleveland Farrell that you're saying who to? You don't remember Cleveland? Drafted out of Cleveland after Cleveland. Drafted out of Clemson after they won the national championship. Over there with Trevor Lawrence and them. Cleveland Farrell. You remember him? All right. What? Oops. Okay. I got to get back here. All right. Titans roster cuts Xavier Restrepo. Never heard of him. Oh, he was Cam Ward's #1 target in college. So he's a receiver. Just a fact. I don't even know Cephas Jones. I know Quintez Cephas. Who's Cephas Jones? All right. Let's see here. Steelers roster cuts. Robert Woods, not part of initial receiving core. Beanie Bishop Jr. also out. Both of those guys, well, I think Robert Woods is a receiver, but Beanie Bishop Jr., wasn't he a defensive back? Yes. Nickel corner Beanie Bishop Jr. was also released. The undrafted rookie hauled in 4 interceptions last season, but didn't have a spot after the team traded for Jalen Ramsey and signed Brandon Eccles. I would kick the tires. I would bring him in for the practice squad. Who's on our practice squad? Would it be Nick Whiteside? Undrafted rookie, 4 interceptions last season. I would do it. I would do it. All right, Saints roster cuts. New Orleans letting go of Jake Haener. If you guys remember Jake Haener, he was a backup quarterback last season for the Saints, who was most famous for taking a really, really zesty package of photos. I guess it was his media. I don't know what it was for, but they were zest filled. There was a lot of zest on those photos. They took the photos and then they put them all on the table and they zested them with lemon. Okay, you know how you zest something like a salad? They definitely zested all of those photos. Anyway, Jake Haener, I'm not sure is better than Kyle Allen, so I would pass. We got to pick up OT Samuel Jackson because I'm about sick of these MF snakes on this MF play. Yes, they were very zest filled. They were the zestification was crazy. The zestification of those photos was crazy. All right. Jets roster cuts. Anybody from New York Jets ain't worth talking about. Wow. Hold on now. But again, this is a position we don't need. But the Jets roster cuts. New York drops Malachi Corley. What did he do? Didn't he like drop a ball on the 1 yard line? Didn't he do that craziness? Yes, there we go. The low light coming in a Halloween matchup against the Houston Texans when he dropped the ball before crossing the goal line, negating a would-be touchdown. with Aaron Glenn and Darren Moogie, whatever his name is, coming aboard and Corley struggling throughout the summer, the Jets decided to part ways. All right. Browns roster cuts. Surprise, surprise. Deontay Johnson can't stick in Cleveland. Deontay Johnson needs to leave football. And the next team that's like, there shouldn't be a team that signs him. Okay? Look, Deontay Johnson is a head case. Right? He's AB without the talent and skills. That's all I'm going to say about Deontay Johnson. All right. Saints roster cuts. Isaiah Foskey let go. I heard about some love for Isaiah Foskey. Now, it's notable. We'll talk about Isaiah Foskey. We'll read the blurb. It says the New Orleans Saints are moving out from a disappointing early draft pick. The team is releasing edge rusher Isaiah Foskey, according to multiple reports. Now, before you call him an edge rusher, just listen to this. Foskey was a second-round draft pick out of Notre Dame in 2023 in 2 years. However, he never cracked the starting lineup or even recorded a sack. With Carl Granderson and Chase Young locking down the starting edge spots, Foskey didn't have a discernible path to significant playing time. That's why I said, before you call him an edge rusher, just listen to this. An edge rusher with no sacks is crazy. What are you rushing off of that edge? You rushing to the bathroom? You rushing to watch Real Housewives of Atlanta? What are you rushing to with no sacks? That's crazy. All right. Steelers roster cuts. Pittsburgh cuts bait on former early draft pick. All these early draft picks getting cut. The Pittsburgh Steelers are calling an end to the DeMarvin Leal experiment. DeMarvin Leal. Once you heard this man's name was DeMarvin, you probably should have said, don't know what kind of football player that is. Okay. The team is waiving the 2022 third round pick. This is the year of the third round picks getting dumped. Okay. Leal entered the league as a talented but vexing tweener of a pass rusher out of Texas A&M. After bouncing around multiple spots, he seemed to settle in on the edge, but with standouts TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith holding down the starting spots and Nick Herbig and third-round rookie Jack Sawyer serving as backups, playing time would be hard to come by. Now, because he's a tweener, I don't know if you want to kick tires, because we know what happens with tweeners and the Detroit Lions. Just ask James Houston. But tire kicking for me on DeMarvin Leal would be something that I would do because he's an edge rusher and he's probably better than Mitchell Agood and Isaac Uku. I'm just saying. All right. Next up for the cuts, we've got Jaguars roster cuts. Jaguars. Anyway, but here it goes. Jaguars roster cuts linebacker Chad Muma. Is it Muma? Muma? Muma. Right, M-U-M-A. Out. The Jacksonville Jaguars are moving on from linebacker Chad Muma after 3 years. According to multiple reports, Muma, a third-round pick out of Wyoming, started 7 games over the last 3 years, but was primarily a backup. The team also drafted 2 linebackers in April. 4th rounder Jack Kisser. It's got to be Kaiser, right? It can't be Kisser. You can't have a last name of Kisser. It's got to be Kaiser. And 6th rounder Jalen McLeod. Like, if they drafted a 6th rounder and you've been there for 3 years and they were like, you're expendable, I don't think that is a player that I want on my team. Chiefs roster cuts. Kansas City moving on from Mike Edwards. The Kansas City Chiefs are moving on from a familiar figure whose second stint ended after just months. The team on Tuesday released safety Mike Edwards, according to multiple reports. Now, we don't have an extra safety. We got Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch, and that's it. Like I said, Rock Ya-Sin is not really a safety, but he's going to back those two up. We have no other safeties. None. Okay? So, I mean, I'm just saying. Maybe. Give him a call. Oh, Lewis Seen is out? I didn't know Lewis Seen was still in the league. I thought he was out because of some knee injury or something. Giants roster cuts. Tommy DeVito's time is up. Hey, Tommy Cutlets. Hey, Tommy DeVito. Let's have a conversation. Chat, let's have a conversation. Are we taking Tommy DeVito over Kyle Allen? I mean, are we taking him? Are we taking Tommy DeVito over Kyle Allen? BHB dealing for O-line and D-line help. I'm not sure yet, but we need some. But Tommy Cutlets. What up, though, Tactical Sport? Are we taking Tommy Cutlets over Kyle Allen? Let me know in the chat. I'm taking Tommy Cutlets. Just saying. I mean, he may be too New York, New Jersey for us. I don't know. He said, no, this ain't 1966. Listen, I don't want to be an I told you so guy for Kyle Allen. I don't want that. I don't want the opportunity to tell you I told you so. I don't want to do that. Okay? I don't want to. I'm just saying. All right. All right, so now we're going down into just a section that says which notable NFL players already have been released. Okay, the following players already have either been cut or will be later Tuesday per reports. Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Kyle Trask. Wow, I just talked about Kyle Trask yesterday. Okay. And defensive tackle Desmond Watson. Kyle Trask over Kyle Allen, yay or nay? What y'all think? Oh, safety Shiloh Sanders. Yeah, okay. Denver Broncos running back Audric Estime. Don't know who that is. Washington Commanders wide receiver Michael Gallup. Maybe 3 years ago. Detroit Lions quarterback Hendon Hooker. See you later. New Orleans Saints running back Cam Akers. Damn, Cam Akers on the Saints. Philadelphia Eagles quarterbacks. Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Kyle McCord, and offensive guard Kenyon Green. Kenyon Green is awful. He's awful, which is why I didn't make it out of camp. I know Dorian Thompson-Robinson's not good. DTR is not good. He was with the Browns. I don't know. Kyle McCord, I don't know if he's better than Kyle Allen. I don't know. Don't know too much about Kyle McCord. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of enticing stuff out here. So, chat, what are your suggestions? How do we shore up this offensive line? Okay? And this defensive line. Because right now, let me go back here. Let's see exactly what we have, who we're working with. Donovan Peoples-Jones got cut. I hope he doesn't go back to drinking. Okay. So the initial 53-man roster is this. Quarterbacks, we have 2 quarterbacks, Jared Goff and Kyle Allen. Running backs, we have 4. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, and Sione Vaki. Wide receiver, we have 6. Because as I told you, Dominic Lovett made the team somehow. He said, how? I sit back and let Brad Holmes cook. Well, that's not fun, TaylorMade. Because if that's all we did, then we wouldn't have a show. So we got to get the fans' perspective, and we got to get the fans heard, and then we got to grow the channel so that one day Brad Holmes does see it, and then he can take advice or suggestions. Not advice. We can take suggestions from us. Craig Reynolds is indeed a baller. Lions need to sign vets. Wave players won't reach Lions until 27 other teams pass on them. That is true. I don't want to subscribe to your notifications. I don't like notifications on my web browser. Okay. So the receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Khalif Raymond, Tim Patrick, Isaac Tesla, Dominic Lovett. Gotta love it. Okay. Tight ends, we have 3, of course, Sam Laporta, Brock Wright, Insane, Zylstra. Offensive line, we have 9. Okay, Taylor Decker, Christian Mahogany, Graham Glasgow, Tate Ratledge, Panay Sewell, Keodi Awasika, Giovanni Manu, Jamarco Jones, and Kingsley Aguakun. As I said earlier, we need a backup center because I don't trust Kingsley Aguakun, who was on the practice squad last season and is now on the active roster. I believe he's on the active roster because he's a backup center. You understand what I'm saying? He's on the active roster because he's a backup center, and Frank Ragnow retired. So either, at this point, I would trade for a backup center. That's what I would do because we Big T just sub. What up, though? Appreciate you. Let's see. So who else do we have? Physically unable to perform is Miles Frazier. He'll be out most of the season. Defensive line, we got Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Tyleek Williams, Roy Lopez, Pat O'Connor, El Qadim Muhammad, Makai Wingo, Chris Smith. Missing the cut, Nate Lynn. Okay, and I'm doing this specifically. I haven't done this for any of the other ones. Okay, but I'm doing all this specifically for a reason. So we're going to go missing the cut, waive with injury settlement, reserve or physically unable to perform, reserve non-football injury. I want to put this in perspective for y'all. Okay, so on the roster, we have Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Tyleek Williams, Roy Lopez, Pat O'Connor, El Qadim Muhammad, Makai Wingo, Chris Smith. That's going to be fun because saying his name this season, I'll be like, DJ Reader. I don't know. It's fun to say that. I don't know why. All right, missing the cut. Nate Lynn, Miles Adams, Broderick Martin, Keith Cooper Jr., Mitchell Agood, Isaac Uku. Watch the inflection. Okay, y'all will notice something about me raising my voice to say these people's names. Waive with injury settlement, Ahmed Hassanin. Reserve physically unable to perform, Aleem McNeil, Levi Onwuzurike. Half and half. Okay. Reserve non-football injury, Josh Pascal. Half and half. Okay. Now, 20 says Cooper was a great story in camp, starting out as a trial player and working his way to first team reps. He could be a candidate to return on the practice squad. Lynn was probably a tough cut too, given the camp he had. He could also be a practice squad candidate. Hutchinson and Davenport looked terrific in camp as Detroit's top edge duo. Williams, okay, again, Hutchinson and Davenport looked terrific in camp as Detroit's top edge duo. Williams has fit the bill as a first round pick and will be counted on while McNeil continues to work his way back from an ACL injury. Okay. Did y'all pick up why I was raising my voice? I was raising my voice because these are the people that are either edge rushers or half and half. They can play defensive tackle or defensive end. They can play inside or outside. On the roster, we have 3. Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, El-Quadin Muhammad. We know Marcus Davenport's history. We know his history. Now, what I've been told this season is that he's made a concerted effort to get back to durability. I don't know why he didn't make this effort in other seasons, but he's training his durability and working on his durability. For some reason, it just started this year. If we don't bring back Big Z and give Hamburger Harry or Hamburger Henry or whatever the case may be, whatever he wants, by not bringing back Big Z because he wants to be on TMZ apparently, and he doesn't want to do camp, and he wants to date Cash Doll. So these are the reasons we shouldn't bring him back. He's a terrible human being because all he wants to do is date Cash Doll, fly to exotic locations, and not do camp. He's a horrible human being. Okay? But if we don't bring back that horrible human being, we have El-Quadin Muhammad as the lone backup to Aiden Hutchinson and Marcus Davenport. Josh Pascal is out for whatever reason. We don't know why he's out, and we don't know how long he's going to be out. It's actually longer than what we were told in the beginning. In the beginning, we were told he probably could be back for week 1. That ain't even the case. That ain't the case. See, it's a matter of taste. We as a people decided Pascal as bad as they say he is. Hashtag if you know, use the hashtag. If we don't bring back Big Z or Cleveland Farrell or somebody, it's going to be an issue. I'm telling you, it's going to be an issue. John Doe, what up, Doe? Ron Winarski, hi. I can't hit him with the what up, though. He's the enemy. I just say hi. Hi, how are you? How you doing, fella? Lions need to cut Pascal and Levi. I don't think either one of them gets another contract with the Detroit Lions. I know they love these people, but Pascal is always hurt every single year. Now Levi has been hurt every single year except last year, and he's going to miss the entire season. He only came back on a 1-year deal anyway. I don't think that he gets another contract. I don't think either one of them get other contracts. So I wouldn't worry about it. John Doe says, when we will be in the Super Bowl, when? I don't know. He just got cut back up to Muhammad. Nope, Lions ain't winning a Super Bowl. Okay, says Ron Winarski. Nothing much, John Doe. Chilling. Zach J says, I know they better not. Yeah, I don't think either one of them is coming back to the Detroit Lions. You can't count on. I get it. You love them. They're great people, great human beings, but you just can't count on them to play football. So all they're doing is taking up roster spots and salary cap space. So no, I would say not possible. But you know what time it is. You know what we do on this show, boy. We flow, boy. But before we flow, boy, we check up on your dough, boy. No, I'm just playing. Shout out to Marcellus Wiley. If y'all haven't seen that, it's hilarious. Anyway, mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they're reading you? Mailbag. Mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. Get your mailbag questions in. Let's go. We need to make this the TaylorMade Media segment, because TaylorMade is always coming through with the mailbag questions. Y'all should be a little bit ashamed, because TaylorMade put y'all to shame. TaylorMade puts y'all to shame. He be Johnny on the spot. Now watch me talk him up, and he ain't even here. All right. So we are counting down in 5, 4, 3. See, there you go. I only got to 2 seconds and Telemed came through. John Doe says, are we at least going to the playoffs? Yes, John Doe. I don't think anybody expects us not to make the playoffs. And that's why we're looking at edge rushers right now, because let's get started. Okay, let's give Jordan Love all he can handle. I don't know Marcus Davenport, man. I'm afraid to count on Marcus Davenport because he's not giving me a reason to be able to count on him. So I'm really afraid to kind of put my eggs in his basket. Pause. Mailbag, if the Lions only have a couple of roster spots open, what would you do with them to fill the 53? Definitely sign Big Z. And we definitely need a backup offensive lineman who can play center, right? So we need a backup IOL. Because right now, the backups of the interior offensive line are, let me look. Okay, so offensive line, we have, that's defensive line. Offensive line, we have Taylor Decker, tackle, Christian Mahogany, guard, Graham Glasgow, center, Tate Ratledge, guard, Panay Sewell, tackle. Coyote Awasika, guard, Giovanni Manu, tackle, but not ready. Jamarco Jones, I think he's a tackle. Kingsley Aguakun, backup center. Okay, so we've only got Awasika, who you trust on the interior as a backup. I don't know if Jamarco Jones plays both tackle and guard. I thought he only played tackle. But our depth in the interior of the offensive line is not great at all. So, yes, that's how I would fix it. Mailbag, now that the 6th rounder out of Boise State is most likely out of the picture, who's next to develop? The next to develop is none other than Isaac Tesla. Right? Now, I haven't found, again, that's SpaceX or White Boy Rick. Either one of those is okay with me. But again, Slim Pickens, Kirby Joseph's new nickname. Somebody's got to float it to him. Slim Pickens. Slim Pickens. I'll just send it to him. I'll just tweet him and see if he'll reply. I don't know if he'll reply, but just Slim Pickens. I like that. Okay. All right. Any more mailbag questions? Jack is his replacement, and Khalif should be returning kicks. Jack is his replacement. Whose replacement is Jack? I'm thinking Jack Campbell. Yeah. Speaking of that, let me finish this. Who did we have? Linebackers, we have 6. Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, Grant Stewart, Zach Cunningham, Trevor Nowaski. Let's see. And defensive backs, we have DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, Lameek Robertson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, Rock Yassin, Avonte Maddox, Khalil Dorsey. As I said, we've got 3 backups. Rock Yassin, Avonte Maddox, and Khalil Dorsey. Khalil Dorsey is not a backup for playing time. He is a special teamer. He's not a cover corner or anything. And then special teams, of course, we have Jake Bates, Jack Fox, and Hogan Hatton. Oh, you were responding to TaylorMade Media? All right. So if we've got no more mailbag questions, we shall sign off. Once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, keep your Lions news pragmatic. I'm going to keep trying to get Doc on the show. I don't know if he'll come on this week or next week, but we'll see. Keep reaching out. And yeah, appreciate y'all once again for coming through, hanging out for a drink and conversation, because I definitely had a drink today. And we shall see you guys tomorrow. I probably should change this thumbnail, but if I don't, I don't. You know what it is. All right. Peace.